Alright guys, so today I have a knife review for you, a pocket knife. This is the Columbia River Knife and Tool LCK. It is a co-brand knife. They co-branded with Ruger. If you don't know what Ruger is, they pretty much make anything gun related. They are a gun company, and they chose to take the path and combine with CRKT to make the LCK pocket knife. CRKT is Columbia River Knife and Tool, and they make pocket knives and other outdoorsy stuff. But this is the box here. So we have the front. Here is the side. Here is the back. Here's the other side with the barcode. There's there, and there's that. Let me flip it over. Manufactured by CRKT under license of Ruger Incorporated. So there's that. Let's do the unboxing now. So it just opens up like this, and there it is right there. And then there's a little catalog inside that doesn't really matter to me personally. Comes in this little bag, and here it is. Alrighty, so here's the knife in its entirety. You get the blade, you get the handle, pocket clip. I'm just going to go over some basic stuff and tell you if I like it or if I don't like it. Let's start with the cons, because it's always good to get the cons out of the way. We're going to do a pro and con kind of thing. So first of all, this thing is kind of loose. If I zoom in here, let me see if I can zoom in, and I go right here and I kind of fidget with this thing. There's a little play in that blade. Wiggle it. I see how I can wiggle it back and forth there. That's not a good thing. I'm not digging that. So I don't like that, first of all. Another thing that I'm not liking is there's a jingle jangle, and if I hold it up to the mic here, you might be able to hear it, but there's a little bit of, I don't know exactly where there's mics all around this thing, so I'm just going to shake it, but you can probably hear that. And I don't like that. That adds an idea of of cheapness. I don't like the fact that it's loose and there's a jingle jangle. Not a big fan of that. Another thing that I'm not very fond of is the blade steel. The blade steel is perfectly adequate. It's 8CR13 MOV, so it's not going to be the best steel. It's not going to be the worst steel. It sharpens very easily because it is such a cheap steel, but it doesn't keep an edge. So if you are expecting to have this edge last you a long time, probably not going to happen. So I would get a sharpener if you do plan on using this thing a lot and expecting it to keep sharp. So yeah, but the steel is perfectly adequate. It's fine, I guess. It could probably be better. They could probably raise up the price $5 or $10 and add a better steel on there. Now let's talk about the pros. The pros about this thing: I do like the look. It's this nice stealthy black, kind of has a Black Ops, RoboCop looking thing to it, kind of military-ish. So I do like that. The scales are very nice. It's glass infused nylon handles. So they feel pretty grippy, pretty secure. You don't feel like it's going to slide out of your hand anytime soon. So I do like the scales. On the outside, there is this pocket clip. As you can see here, the pocket clip is a deep carry pocket clip, and I love pocket clips that are deep carry because they sink farther into your pocket. It makes it less known that you have a knife on you. And it's just nice, and it disappears in your pocket. You don't really feel it there. Another thing I love about this knife is there are no screws protruding from the body. As you see, it's nice and smooth. The screws are actually implanted inside of the body, which is nice, so it's not going to catch on your clothes when you put it in your pocket, and that's really nice. So I do love the pocket clip on this thing. It's definitely one of the best pocket clips on any pocket knife for me personally. So that is a pro. So pretty much that's it on the outside. Just the pocket, and I do like the pocket clip and how it's nice and flush, and also I do like the glass infused nylon handles, nice and grippy. It's nice. Okay, so now let's talk about the inside. There's two things I want to talk about. The first one is the liner lock. It has some nice jimping. So as you can see there, there is some nice jimping. That makes it really nice to where you can just put your thumb on there, and it makes, adds some really nice grip. And there is a little bit of space there. I have really big, really giant thumbs, and it makes it really easy to just put my thumb in there and push it and close it. So closing this knife is not an issue at all. It's actually very pleasant, not hard on the thumb at all. It's a very pleasant experience closing this knife. Another thing that makes this knife so smooth and very easy to operate is the fact that it uses a bearing system, in order to flick the knife out. So if you look right in there, you can see a bearing. So that's what this thing operates off of. It operates off of a bearing system, and that means for a very, very, very smooth knife, a very smooth opening and closing of the knife. And that's one thing I do love about this knife. So most knives nowadays, they use kind of like a pivoting system. There's a pin, and they cut a hole in the blade, and this I realize this looks wrong, just stick with me, but the pin goes into the blade, and then the blade can can pivot on that axle. And one good thing about the bearing system, it's going to be a lot more reliable than just a pin pivoting system. Because just a regular pin pivoting system, it can get gunk in there and dirt and grime. The bearing can be lubed up and oiled and made to perform a lot better than just a pin. So the opening of this thing is buttery smooth, and the closing of it is even more smooth. So that's one thing I do love about this knife, is the pivoting system is nice, and that's why I think it has the jingle jangle, is because there's washers on each side of the bearing there, and that's what I think the jingle jangle is. So it's going to be kind of personal preference. If you don't mind the jingle jangle, I actually don't really mind this knife at all. So if you don't mind that, then get this knife. I think it's a great knife overall. I'll probably be returning it because I have other knives that I like a lot better. This knife didn't really do anything special for me. And I also really like the blade shape. I do like this kind of Warncliffe style sheep's foot blade. That's a pretty nice looking blade. It does have a black oxide coating, so that's going to protect against, rust and stuff like that, and I do like the stealthy look of this blade. This knife's going to be best for slicing, because it has that Warncliffe style blade. There's no point to it, so it's going to be very nice to just get a good grip on it, and this knife's going to be really good for opening boxes, cutting paper, and other stuff like that. So, so keep that in mind. One thing I do love about this knife also is, there is a little finger choil right there, so you can put your finger right there, and you can get some really good control on this knife if you plan on using it, intensely. Then you have you have a really nice place to put your finger there, and that gives you some really good control over this knife. So this knife is definitely secure. There's also a little spot down here for your finger to go. The ergonomics of this thing aren't amazing because it's just kind of like a square body, but this thing fits into my hands really nicely. I have big baseball mitt hands, so it fits into my hand very nicely, and I can choke up on it and get some really good control. Yep, that's pretty much it. That is a look at the CRKT LCK co-branded with Ruger. So yeah, and one thing that is pretty good about this knife is the price. It's only about $25. So if if the pros outweigh the cons in this, and you think $25 is worth it, I definitely get this knife. It's definitely solid. It's not gonna be a bad knife for you. It's just not gonna be for me. Yep, but I will link it in the description if you want to go check it out. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. ZSpeedVid signing out. Peace.